Welcome back, everyone. It's the Aces AFL Show. We have Daisy Thomas in the building, and he's just going to kick us off from the top because there needs to be some sort of address after last week's appalling effort. I don't know whether it's your fault or the big lipper, but we've gone down by one leg in the Profit Propeller. So, Daisy, what have you got to say for yourself?
Firstly, where's Wallace? Oh, not the children's book. Where's Wally? I think that's copyrighted.
He didn't want to be around after the disappointing Profit Propeller going down, and he's taken off to China.
He's actually gone away to China.
He's off to China, and he's working on his baccarat.
He's just had enough. He didn't want to come to Adelaide, but you're right. I do have to apologise to the Narry Warren Footy Club, the Profit Propeller. This was all my idea. You need to remember this. I wanted this to go off more than anyone. I did swear after Sammy Walsh didn't get 30 the week before and I went on a Thursday night that I wouldn't do it again. I got caught up. It was my two old teams and I nearly forecasted it. I know I said in the first quarter he kicked the right foot snap, Paddy Lipinski, but he had a shot, right foot snap from 35, misses, had a left foot snap, didn't make the distance, and then old Lockie Schultz stole one off him on the goal line, squared ball. He would have walked in and nubbed it through and Lockie Schultz comes through. I apologise. If he hadn't have hit the scoreboard or had chances, I would have felt worse. I still feel bad because it was a lot of money. But we do need to take something up with Wallace. Now, I did comment on the post that I might have had a consolation for the Narry boys because I put it in the group chat after my leg missed. Out of the goodness of my heart, have 100 on the rest of the Profit Propeller, and if it gets up, we'll give it to them. Sir Wallace didn't even do it. He's the accounts guy. He's the guy with the money. He didn't do it. So he should be punished at some point too.
Well, we'll have to address that because it was, I think we got $18. Well, sorry, we had $9 and we had a 200 on it and we said, we'll give this to the boys and he doesn't know how to do it, Big Wall.
So he's gassed it.
He's just learning how to use this type of thing. He's only used to spreadsheets and Excel, you know what I mean?
So there was a lot of comments. I got some strong feedback. I think nearly every one of the players from Narry sent me the emoji of this in the DMs, just a finger up. So I know, I'm sorry, I do want to be better, but that is the game, unfortunately. History's riddled with bad beats and this was one of them. I'm not coming to play twos for your side because that league slightly scares me. I'm not overly brave. So I will do my punishment this weekend in Gather Round. Saturday morning, dressed up, full Lipinski kit. I might even get a long sleever out too. Rundle Mall. What time?
I think 10:30 is the best time.
10:30. You got 15 minutes.
No, you're doing 30 minutes.
We'll do 15. I'll give you 20. 20 minutes. We'll be handing out flyers.
30 minutes. Get around Daisy. I know he loves the big time. He'll be there for 30 because he punished us all last week. Rundle Mall is a busy place in Adelaide, so you are going to dress up head to toe in the full Collingwood kit with Lipinski potentially on the back.
And I'll be giving out the flyers. Of course, we've got the big show coming up at the Cumby that afternoon from midday, 12:30.
That's 205 Weymouth Street, Adelaide, for anyone wondering what the address is. We'll be there. We'll be there all weekend, let's be honest. It starts at 4 o'clock, I think, on the Friday, but me and you will be watching what goes around 2 o'clock on a Friday.
Anywhere, provincials usually. Or are you talking AM or P?
My horse is running Friday, I think, or potentially tomorrow. I need to work out what the trainer, Annabelle Neesham, said.
My horse is running Saturday, tomorrow.
I've only got the tail of it, but it's only 250. I'm a bit flat. Polo Ridge. We share it with Ads Trelaw, Brooks Bloom, Brooke Goodwin there, and Joshy Dunkley. So second prep.
Has it run? Yeah.
It had 3 or 4 starts last prep and it was very green. Went out too hard, but it's trialled well. So it should win. I think it's running Thursday or Friday. I'll circle back.
Huge.
Friday would be great. Yeah.
Have the whole pub on it.
Oh, we'll have something going. And that's the thing with this pub. Like we're going to have, it's the Clubhouse vibe. Get in early because I think a lot of people have already booked. We've got the in the show notes, we've got the link there for you guys to hit up. But this is going to be that much fun.
You've got players coming in, like current players.
We've got a great lineup. We're talking Brownlow medalist, Lockie Neal, premiership player and captain. We've got Josh Dunkley rolling in as well. Isaac Cummings just confirmed he'll be there.
Well done.
Fogarty, he's got the big beer on his
I didn't realise that was fake. I thought that was fair income.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was real as well, actually. Yeah. Sorry while you said that. I thought it was just for the game, though. You remember when they did the whiskers thing for hocking? I thought it was one of those setups.
You can't do a real tattoo just for a game.
Well, I thought it was like a tattoo that stays for a week.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, but a real tattoo would mean it stays
gotcha.
forever.
I thought you meant it was just for the photo. No. Yeah, he's going to rock it for the game. Good. That's what you should do if you're a player. I mean, how marketable is that? He kicks 3 or 4 a game.
You're allowed to do that? Well, I guess... Oh, well, he's doing it, so you must be.
Libba's got Simpsons and all that on his body.
Yeah, but he's not getting cash from them.
Well, He would if he could. But yeah, get to the Clubhouse. It's going to be, oh man, I'm excited.
Hey, well, I can't go the Friday, obviously I'm working, but the Saturday I'll be there from when doors open. Billy Brownless coming along as well. We've got Julian Valance from Foxcatcher. So the races will be on the big screen.
Mate, if you think of lads, like Brad Close is popping in, Dion Prestia, we're waiting for Toby Green and the Giants boys. They're just trying to see, he'll be there because his horse is running Saturday, Circles of Fire. So that's going to be in the Sydney Cup. So that's going to be fun to watch. And then when you talk about Daisy Thomas, Billy Brownless and Bernie Vince, three of the greatest men alive, it's going to be good vibes. And not to mention the amount of people in the DMs that are coming. There's no doubt some great fellas and some ladies that will attend. So looking forward to it, mate. As we said, get to the Cumby at 205 Weymouth Street, Adelaide. That's the address if you're wondering.
Any reason why you're not wearing a Port jumper?
Well, this is a Jordan Dawson signed jersey. So we're going to give this one away on the podcast. Not this week. We'll wait. We've got a few jerseys rocking up. He's already confirmed there's 2 full Adelaide team signed jerseys.
Let's give one away Saturday.
Well, we're giving away 2 already.
What more can you do?
We can give another one away, but I thought we'll put this on the set. We need to put the jersey on the set, and later in the year, we're going to give this one away.
I like it.
No Port. I just don't have a Port top. If I could get the one they wore last week, that's the one I want. You know, the tealy one that
the old
Eddie
school
Maguire loves.
Yeah. I can't remember it.
Anyway, there's a lot of so Wall's not here. He's in China. He's got a big company called Droneland, and he's unfortunately couldn't make it. So we crack on, mate. Let's talk footy quickly. Last week, let's start off with the high-flying Suns. Your boys, have the Suns finally risen?
They have. There is no doubt about it. I'm not sure why you're surprised. I said here pre-season, I said they'll be on top of the ladder after round 6. Last week was really the acid test, wasn't it? The Crows were flying. Did they get a touch lucky? Probably. But however, you got to make the most of your opportunities. They did that. They're scoring big points. I love that. The defence is looking okay. Mac Andrews, he's getting better by the week. Good spoiling, but very aggressive at teammates, which we love. They're flying. You've got to be impressed, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I was like this last year with the Suns, and they let me down. And it probably left me in a bit of like, I've been here before with the Suns, but now you can clearly see they're going to be very good for the next 4 or 5 years. I just love their balance across the field.
It was mature what they did on the weekend. They were challenged. The Crows came back. The Suns were good.
Well, mate, if I got it up, I'm pretty sure Phil Thorpe, would he kick 5? Fogarty kick 4, Tex kick 3. Now, if I told you that happens and you said Suns win, you'd think, no way.
12 goals.
Yeah, so if they're allowing that and still winning, they've probably got a lot of improvement to do, and it's exciting times. 3-0, that's massive.
And the pink jumper they're rolling at the minute, that's grouse.
Love it. Yeah. It is grouse.
Send one in, please, Gold Coast Suns. I'll wear it.
Yeah, we wouldn't mind that, actually. The Suns will get around that. Let's get them on get them down here.
Do they have a number 1 ticket holder? Because I'm all aboard.
I reckon Dan Gorringe might be sneaking back in because he's a Blues man and he needs to get that content funnel going. And if there's a time to swap teams, if I'm Dan the man, I'm going for the Suns.
I think I might have actually seen that top on his pod already.
I reckon he's claimed the Suns already, mate. So you might be late to the party. Now, speaking of that game, how frustrated would you feel with the no kick decision late in the game if you were Adelaide, especially after the AFL admits error? Was it a mark?
I would happily say it was a mark or a free kick, and the AFL agree. It's stiff. Like the game's made up of mistakes, whether it be players, umpires, but the ones that come down to the last minute or deciding the game, I think as fans, and you don't want to see a game decided by a poor decision or a non-decision. The AFL admitted they were wrong, which I love. I love the fact you've got to put your hand up if you make a mistake. They did that. I like the fact the Crows came out and clipped and said they were disappointed. You know, how many times does this have to happen? Again, if you're a Crows fan, you want to hear that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean, Jack, you lost the game and bad luck, which has been the history.
Well, they've had a lot of bad luck. What about that Sydney game when they hit the goalpost with the review, all that drama, which cost them finals? Draper.
There was a Jordan Dawson non-free kick v Collingwood, round 15, 2023, lost by 2 points. That one you speak of there, that was round 24. Sam Draper non-free kick.
Draper just lying on the ball. That was
6,
unbelievable.
Directly in front. They lost by 3 points. And Isaac Rankin non-marked free kick on the weekend. Bad luck. You don't have to be dead to be stiff sometimes, Tommy.
No, you don't. But they'll be fine. 3-1.
Mate, they're flying. Yeah. And you just hope that it doesn't have ramifications later in the year. But again, they are one of the sides that has jumped out of the pack because I didn't really, of the 2 Adelaide sides, I thought Port was going to be better than the Crom. But the Crom are playing some bloody good footy. love what they're doing. They're
Suns
impressive.
and Crom, they're the most exciting teams to watch. I like the Giants as well. They're right up there. Probably Hawks, but they play a great style. You know, the brand's attractive.
Yeah, we've gone from an era where it was almost, we'll try and keep the opposition to 12 or more goals, 12 or less goals, I should say, sorry. And now it seems like it's almost the old Malcolm Blight, we'll kick 20, or they kick 19 and we'll kick 20. Like, it is just all out attack and scoring, which is brilliant. It's what you want to see. And there's going to be sides that play that dour model that try and beat you by kicking a low score. I think they're going to struggle to contain sides.
I've got a random one here, but I think because I watch a lot of American sport and that game last week, I was watching it and I thought, if Rankin marks that ball or gets the free kick and he kicks a point, it's a draw. I want OT. I want overtime. I just can't live with the draw. And when the game's in the balance, I just think a draw. I know we've talked about this before, but I want overtime. I know we're introducing all these new things in the AFL. We're trying to grow the game and whatnot. I just think we're past this draw business. I would love overtime. Just wanted to get your opinion on
it. No, I'm here for it. We need to evolve. An OT in the basketball or any other form. Do the NFL go to overtime?
They do.
Yeah. So, and if it's one like 6 minutes of overtime and it's a draw, push on for the kickoff. Like, you want drama, you put a spot on the ground 25 metres out directly in front, no one on the mark, and you just 1 for 1. 5 kicks.
You can't tell me the news that night is playing the highlights of any other game except for the draw and then the shootout from 40 out in front, knockout type operation, whatever it is, guard of honour, 5 kicks each.
Perfect.
That would just blow up and that just makes more noise for the game.
Yep, I love it. So we are progressive, and if it does come into effect, you should put your hand up and say, I started it.
Well, there's a lot of people that's 50-50. We did a poll last year. I thought I'd get your opinion. Now, keep moving. Hawthorn come off the bye with a big casualty. Will Day sidelined for 4 months with a foot stress fracture. How big of a blow is this for the Hawks?
Big blow. Once he came into the side last year, their form really turned around. It's unfortunate because it looks like it could be close to season ending. And
4 months, yeah.
Yeah, Navicular, you're not going to rush him back. He's a big boy as well. It's a big hole. Opportunity, though, for the Hawks to prove that their system is good enough no matter who's playing. But he's been forward as well. So the Hawks have been resting a lot of those midfielders. Instead of going for rotation on the bench, they've put him forward. We've seen Newcomb forward as well. So that's been a real point of difference to other years. Now they're one man down, which probably has to mean they shift the magnets a little bit.
They'll need to shift them as well. All right, Carlton, zip and 4. Is there a way out of this hole? They did it last year, but for some reason this season feels a little bit different, Daisy.
It does. Have they been the biggest disappointment of the year so far? Yeah, I'll happily say that I think so far in this season, and there is a long way to go. I said I want a form line of 6 rounds. We've only seen 4 of them so far for the Blues, and they do have the West Coast Eagles this week. These are the caveats on this, but right now they have been the most disappointing side this year. I thought it was going to be the Blues. I did a top 3 seeds at the start of the season, and I thought, natural progression, that list playing together, evolution as a side, the premiership window, the profile was all going to be ready for them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're executing the game plan or if the game plan's wrong. It's really hard to judge because you go and watch a Blues game. You go and watch the Hawks, you know what their DNA is. You know how they play, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You go and watch the Blues and you go, I don't know.
Well, the first half, I do.
Yeah.
And I'm not just jumping on the narrative. Yeah. I actually had a little bet on Blues last week and the under because it started raining when I was walking up to the local pub. I'm going, well, the G's only 2 kilometres away. And I thought, mate, I'm on the ball here and their pressure was immense. They were scoring. They just looked elite. I'm like, high pressure. This is finals football. This is, it's Collingwood, Carlton. Half time, mate, they could not score. And it was a completely different team. And obviously Collingwood clicked into gear, but there's so much inconsistent. They're very inconsistent. So it's hard to get a measure on what the style looks like because I haven't seen a full game yet.
I'm going down. I don't think fitness has been raised. I don't think it's that.
Fitness, come on, man. Like how hard do all the clubs work? Imagine someone saying it's fitness. Like, come on, they've been training since November.
But you've got to have a game style that allows you to compete for 4 quarters. And at the moment, I don't think they do. Because they play that territory brand, they're kicking it a lot from stoppage just to get territory. And their numbers inside minutes inside forward half compared to opposition are through the roof, but they're not getting any good looks. So the ball just goes in, and yes, at the start they can scrap a pressure, get a look on goal. The longer the game goes and then you start to fatigue a little bit, you'd be half a yard off. If you're condensing the field so the ball's in your end of the ground for a majority of it, that means the opposition, as soon as they're through, have a lot of space to attack. And at the moment, that's what's happening. After half time, they're getting out, they're spreading, and that's why you look second rate and you get chopped up. So they can change it. They just, again, like if this is what they've practiced all preseason, and I don't think it is, because the Giants game they played in Canberra in the preseason, they were unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
like we say, though, preseason form, it can really rattle you.
Maybe they went so well that everyone's figured them out off that. So they need to figure something out. They tried a different ball movement. I think that is the way forward. But as it sits right now, and I want this put out there before it gets clipped, there is a long way to go in this season, and I haven't completely ruled a line. But as it stands, after round 4, they've been the most disappointing side so far.
As I just scroll on the little mouse pad I've got
yeah,
here with Roller Media Studios, as we're in this new studio, I'm looking down and they have West Coast this week. And if there's a week, a bit like the longest yard, you need a little pickup game, right? So no disrespect to my boys at the Eagles, but they need a little pickup game. And this is a week where a little confidence boost might help the boys over there in Adelaide.
Is there a world?
No, there can't be a world where West Coast
is there a world where the West Coast Eagles... What would you have given me about Richmond beating Carlton in round 1? PointsBet gave us 15-1 or something like that.
Oh,
I would have, if you had said, name a price, I would have given it to you, and I wouldn't have given you any minimum bet.
I'm looking at the odds here, and mate, like
you speak to any Carlton supporter between now and when the final siren goes, there will be
they're only $5 the Eagles, which is not like the bookies are saying there's a pulse.
You're saying there's a chance.
If that happens, it'd be. I mean, 5. That'd be disaster. Like 0 and 5 with the Richmond.
5, I will officially rule a line.
I think you have to. There'd be a lot of dramas. I just saw the Denver Nuggets just sack their head coach after winning a championship in 2023. I hate seeing coaches under the pump, but like you can just see what the media is going to do if they were to lose this one.
Oh,
so they need to win this one.
The supporters are more irate than the media, though, at the moment. Like, I'm not sure how many mates you've got who are supporters. Our
man that put the studio together, your man, Andy.
And then for what it's worth, Andy, your opinions don't matter. So maybe people are stopping me in the street, in the supermarket, wherever I'm going, and not for a discussion, just begging for answers. What is it? Can we turn it around? Please tell me.
One thing I will say is blokes like Patrick Cripps and Walsh, and even like they've got the spine there, Wiedering and Kerno, and hopefully Mackay's back soon, but they have the spine. I'm big on spine. So I still think they can turn it around. But yeah, I'd like to see a very attractive brand of football against the Eagles in Adelaide.
That's why we've always called you the chiropractor.
Why's that?
You're big on spines.
I don't mind that. Let's keep moving because we'll be here all week talking about.
See myself.
Jeez, I should have picked that one up. Pies count the cost after a victory over the Blues. Dan Houston 2 weeks after that brainy explosion. Jordan DeGoey, he's out as well, and Lockie Schultz will miss with a hammy, I believe, after a training incident. They're big outs, Daisy. So will that affect them?
Has to. Yeah, DeGoey was goal scoring. He's the power. He's the point of difference through the midfield forward. Schultz had probably played his best game at the club. Looked like he
Man
really
of the match.
Yep.
The big shooter.
The best on, kicking goals, pressure. And Dan Houston, they got him because he's a beautiful kick. He's slice and dice, but also the penetration on his kick to the back line. I was speaking to Tommy Mitchell on the 7 coverage, and he said that's the hardest thing to defend. So not only does he kick it long, but it gets through the air really quickly, which is great insight. So they've got to find a way through that. Josh Dacos to half-back. He's a good user. Whether or not or how you replace the Geordie DeGoey, it's something they've had to do before because he's been injured a bit, unfortunately, and shooter up forward. Bobby Hill probably just takes the mantle and takes the piss.
Righto. Goody's been at the D's. There's a little bit of doubt about them. They fall again, and this time against the Cats. Is it getting worse for the D's? Now we see that Jake Lever has ankle surgery and will miss 8 weeks. You look at the list, you know, do you start to think this offseason they're going to start to get rid of a couple of their guns to get draft picks? Like, it's you know, we know Gorney's.
You're ruling a line already through the season.
Well, I've got them not making the 8.
Well, I think from
and
now,
I look at their best players and they're all older players.
I was holding on to the fact I didn't think that the Cats game was a true indication of what they produced under pressure. That joint is so hard to win at regardless. You know, the stats of Chris Scott winning down there of the 111
I get
games.
that, but they can't score and they haven't been able to score for 3 years.
But down there isn't the issue.
Okay, not there, but I'm saying in general, they can't score.
Yeah, well, so again, we give
That's
them...
the biggest issue I've got. They've got the great mids, strong team defense, can't score.
Essendon, they have this week in Gather Round. They'll get perfect conditions.
Saturday night, Adelaide Oval.
A side that can be scored against pretty heavily at times, Essendon. So they get an opportunity there if they don't win this one. Unfortunately, and I don't want to be death riding any coaches or any sides, but it just becomes the speculation. I love Goody as a coach. He's been fantastic for the joint. The players all love him. They're still invested. Just for whatever reason at the moment, they cannot find a way. On the weekend, it was, when you try too hard, when you've been out in the twos or whatever it is and you come back and you're like, right, I've got to get everything perfect. I'm going to
collapse in, numbers of the ball.
And then you sort of just lose the nous of just playing, just sort of flow, and this is what I've done. They seem at the minute so hard on themselves to want to rectify everything that it's a bit forced and it's clunky rather than just playing with freedom. So hopefully this weekend, Gather Round, they go to Adelaide. They had a really good patch there last year in similar circumstances. They won 2 on the road. They got it going. Hopefully this can kickstart the Melbourne season. Lever out is massive. Lever and May are the best 1-2 punch in the comp.
Oh, yeah. And it's hard to fill the void when you've got just that chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost impossible to get that chemistry they've had over a long time. Well, you know what? If D's lose that, they are 0-5.
Yeah.
That's scary. And again, they're a bit like Carlton. I like their spine. There's enough there, just not scoring enough. Their midfield is stacked. Petrarca, Oliver, Viney, gone.
They've got to get more out of the forward line. Like Van Rooyen, I understand he's youngish, but he just needs to compete. They need to get out of him what the Hawks do for a Marby or Chol. You don't have to be best on. You just have to compete because it's a sort of a similar profile. They've got the small forwards that can get busy, but at the moment, there's not enough contest coming from him. He can improve again, so if he gets opportunity. But right now, if you're a D's fan, not looking great.
No, but
good for the snow season.
You know what? That is a blockbuster, though. Essendon and Melbourne, I'd imagine it's going to be – let's have a look at the –
65,000 people apparently are travelling from Victoria across to Gather Round.
There you go.
That's big numbers. So there'll be –
The bookies have the Dons at $1.81 and the D's at $2 at the moment. So
it's closer than maybe
it's going to be
something.
a kick or two. So that's going to be exciting.
What's the line there on the PointsBet app?
I'll get that up while you answer this one last question about last week. Are the Saints genuine contenders or we can't trust them just yet?
I will not throw them as far as saying contenders. Have they what did you just say? Are they? I don't think overachieving is probably the word, but they're playing to their maximum ability, I think, at the minute with a couple of key players out. This is the beauty of Ross Lyon, Tommy. He just gets the maximum out of every side that he coaches. The game plan must be really simple. And not in a detrimental way, but the fact that everyone is on the same page.
I can tell you it's not simple, but you need to play it. You need to know the game plan and execute. A couple of late meetings, mate, but I knew the game plan and I executed it. He does. He's got a game plan that it's very strict, but it works. And but the thing with the game plan for the Saints is it's more attractive. Like they're scoring more.
Yeah,
it's always been more team defense orientated, but it looks like I know they played Port last week, but it looks like they're getting it and going, and it's a more attractive brand of footy, as I keep saying.
The Cats, they were very good. Obviously, win that game, fell in, but they were good enough to set themselves up. Last year, I reckon it was the Gold Coast Suns game. Ross got torched for parking the bus, and all you do is get your numbers back. They had, from a numbers point of view, turnover to inside 50 numbers through the roof. They just couldn't score. So it's sort of been there. Now they're just executing better.
Jack Higgins was hilarious.
Higgins just, and again, he doubled down on the news last night. Do you like Adelaide? Not really. What are you going to do? Not much.
Just play PlayStation.
The Premier said he'd take him out, and Jack goes, "Would you?" They said, "Would you be up for that?" Jack goes, "Yeah, I guess." I think it's great. It adds another dimension to it.
I think it's fantastic.
He's playing some good footy. And the question to you, without notice, sorry, it's not on the rundown.
About time you asked me a question. It's a one-way street here. Gee whiz.
Well, that's what happens when you're the host. I asked you about the under-over.
I've got that 2.5. So it's 2.5.
You have a start.
It's literally a half a goal.
Not even.
Yeah, you're right.
Max King. This is a weird question because we know he's a star. Are they better without him? Because I'll give you this. When he plays, you get the ball 75 metres out from goal and you look up and you see the big guy. You know he's there.
Yeah,
he's your option. He's your bailout option. They don't have that at the minute. So from 75 to 50, there's an extra possession, which then means you're lowering the eyes or figuring it out.
Probably playing better football inside 50 and lowering their eyes. We used to call it the money kick. They're turning around. What have we got? And they're actually probably taking the best option versus, I've got to kick it to the big fella.
The safety.
We had the same thing with Pav. Like every Monday you'd roll in and there'd be one clip where you're like, yep, he's our skipper. He's the greatest player we've ever had. But you don't have to kick it to him every time. We've got Chris Mayne on the right, the third umpire. I remember things like that. But they just have that presence. I can't answer that question because I believe that when you've got a powerful forward up there, it helps everyone around. So I personally think when he comes back, they'll be even better.
I like it. Well thought through. I was going to say, I thought you were just going to bail out and go,
No, I'll never bail out. I'll give it to you. Tell you what we need to do. We need to pump up Gather Round because we are kicking it off Thursday night with the Crows hosting the Cats. But as we said, we are packing the Cumby and we need everyone to get there. I just noticed your hat. That's a nice Gather Round hat. You're going to get a freshie this year?
I'll tell you what, I've got a fresh trim. Have a look at that.
That's salad. That'll be on full flight. Yeah, that's salad at Rundle Mall, 10:30 when Daisy gets punished handing out the flyers to the podcast.
The first one.
Are you a little bit nervous about the podcast flyers?
No, not one bit. I'll be there for 5 minutes, as I said.
The Narry Warren Football Club has bye this week and they're all driving up.
Come over, boys. I will, if they come across, if you're from the Narry Warren Footy Club, I will buy you a beer at the Cumby, just a little sweetener on my apology.
I reckon a lot of blokes will be telling you that they play for that footy club now.
I need proof and I need an ID card and your starting position. Oh, dear.
Now, we always have a must watch, but they're kicking Gather Round off in style is the Crows, the angry Crows, you'd imagine, after last week, taking on the hot Cats. And our friends from Stat Mate, who we know are our best mate when it comes to building a multi and arming yourself with everything you need to know about footy, just download it now in the App Store. But they have a couple more for us. And they think Rory Laird is averaging 5 disposals more per game at Adelaide Oval versus any other venues. That's an average of 29.8 versus his 24. And the other one is Bailey Smith has started the season in fine form, averaging 28.3 disposals per game and hitting 25 plus in all of his 3 matches. So our friends at StatMate who have not missed since round 1 are saying, look for Rory Laird and Bailey Smith for your 25 plus to go into your multiples.
Oh, that's good going there.
None of them get tagged as well. I always think, who's tagging? There's no real tag. There's no defensive
real tag. And if you're going to anyone at Adelaide, you're probably going to Dawson, the skipper. So they get the opportunity Thursday night. They smack the Blues in the first ever game of Gather Round back in 2023. This is a side, and again, you're going to have to back up week on week to be taken completely serious and before we have full faith. Am I a bit concerned about the finals-like intensity, the contest, the weather, and the fact that it went down to the wire? Yes. Do the Cats get an extra day break? Yes. Was their game easier? So I think they're going to be up against it.
Rankin potentially out.
Which is, again, another cause for concern. I'm leaning towards the Putty Cats in this one.
You can't be, can you?
I can, for all those reasons.
The Crows Gather Round, home crowd.
It'll get them going, but
the big 3 up there.
Yeah, I just
no Rochelle, no Rankin. Are you saying is a bit of an issue as well?
There's some goals going and a little bit of class through the midfield. Rankin's a superstar. That word gets thrown around, and has he got there yet? He's a superstar.
Oh yeah,
don't you worry about that. And him with the guitar as well in Gather Round.
He can do it all.
A rock star and a superstar. He's got the double threat. So I'm concerned. I think the Cats can win. You're on the crom board?
Well, I reckon the skipper, Jordan Dawson, he's one of the best captains in the competition. He's going to need to step up again.
He's a gun too. I didn't give him enough credit when he came across the Crows. He's a beauty.
Mate, and can play anywhere. So if they need him to go and kick a couple goals or go to halfback and settle the boys if they've got a lead, he can just do it all. Brass in the air. He's got the best leg. You can just put him anywhere. The leadership, I think this will be a great game of football. And yeah, the bookies agree with what you're saying. They're saying it's, they're $1.62, but for the Cats, so you're not going $2.40 or whatever it is. But you're not getting
$2.35 at the points bet, 8.5 start.
Yeah, so they're saying it's going to be close.
I like the fact that the under over goes up at 181.5. That is high scoring.
Well, you know why it's high scoring? Because that's how they play, mate. Just a random one. We're not here. I'm not Jane Bunn, but the weather this week is off its head.
Over there, yeah.
Mate, have you seen the weather? We're talking Thursday 28, Friday 27, Saturday 31, and Sunday 31, mate. You're going to have to get those Soho cherries out and chuck them on every single day. But I can't believe we're talking Gather round 5, and we've got... That's like the perfect weather in life.
These are the things. So Live Golf Adelaide, they take the piss. They've had a hole-in-one the first year on the party hole. The Aussie team wins it the second year, and this year they have another hole-in-one. They just love it. They just end up being brilliant. Now, this year for Gather Round, it's going to be shorts and T-shirts weather.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable. The grapes at the Barossa will be ready to just be drunk ice cold. You're going to be brilliant. Mate, so perfect conditions, no excuses.
So your tip is going to be the Cats.
It is.
Wow. I'm going to stick with Adelaide. And to be honest, I've got my Profit Propeller locked in, which is in the next game. We'll talk about them later. But I was thinking maybe that should have been Adelaide 1-39. Anyway, I'll leave the result out of it. Let's go to Friday night football. This is a huge game.
Who do you like? You tell me.
Pies versus Swans, injuries on both sides of the ledger. How are we assessing both sides at the moment?
It's hard because the Swans obviously on the weekend, the 12.5, the line went up in that one. Oh, boy.
Just on that, we're going to talk about, probably not going to talk about North, but Sydney's defence and Coxie, what he's done, because he said he's going to come in and fix their defence, has been unbelievable. North's performance last week made me sick because they've been so good. And it's the year where I think they're going to turn it around. They were so bad last week. But I'm thinking maybe Sydney's team defence is just rock solid.
It is. And they've always been a very good defensive side. I think North Melbourne, you can't drink the Kool-Aid too quickly.
Well, yes, you can drink a little bit of it. They just can't be doing what they did last week. That was disappointing.
It was disappointing, but you still get those inconsistencies in performance. It's hard.
Not when Sydney have 8 of their best out. Yeah, and you're at home, and it's the only prime time. It's the only game on Saturday night. You can't be rocking up and not putting on a performance after quarter time.
They respond this week?
They will respond. Yeah. Obviously, their effort will be up and about. They've got a tough...
But so to the point of what we're talking about with the game, the Pies played okay in a wet, crappy sort of night, and they've had a couple of those. So we haven't really seen them at their best, and the Swans, you can't really judge them off that performance. So the form line isn't great. I'm just leaning towards the Pies for no real tactical reasons, just sort of more heart over head.
Mm.
How are you seeing it?
I'm leaning Swans.
Just for the same field, just a
team
field?
defence. Yeah. Degoe out, Schultz out. Houston out. That's why I'm leaning Swans.
Okay.
And it's team defence is important. And when I see all of their players buying in, and I see all these young guys that can kick for the Swans, geez, Kinnear Beatson, you are the man. He just recruits the best players. I think the Swans can get it done. So
line goes up here at 5.5 start for the Swans. Pies your favourite, and the under-over in this one, 168.5. So we've gone from 181.5 to 168.5.
They really load up on the same game multis on the Thursday. Just ease up on the goal kickers on the Friday is what you're saying.
That's sort of indicating that might be the case. Loading up responsibly, of course, Thomas.
Of course. Yep, so we're going to agree to disagree.
Yep.
For both games.
That's a good start.
It is a good start.
Maybe we should have a wager of some grapes from the
Well, maybe if I go 0-2, I can join you at Rundle Mall. We'll see. Actually, why would I say that? I'll be there anyway, just filming you in the background going, have a look at this clown. All right, there's a few more. I mean, the whole week we'll go through, but they're our must-watch. But Carlton v West Coast, we've already touched on that, and the D's and Essendon. Just a quick tip, because we've already talked about it, but is there a chance for someone like Curnow just to go bananas and kick potentially 9 like Big Jesse Hogan did last week against West Coast?
And he's done it before against West Coast. I think it's going to be more even team spread. I do think West Coast will respond as well. So I'm slightly scared. Carlton and Melbourne this week, and you've played in games like this, it doesn't matter where you are or how badly you've done. You need to have I don't give a shit what it takes, find a way to win. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it involves whatever. You just find a way to be in front when the final siren goes. And if they don't, for one of them, look out. The jungle drums will start beating.
They will. I just think without McGovern and a lot of their key backs, when you go up against a guy like Charlie, he's going to be too hard to stop.
Yeah. And he's had a couple of runs now. He'll be fitter for it. The watch becomes on Harry Mackay whether or not he comes back in. Because could be a nice way to just ease back into it.
Charlie's $3.50 for 5.
Probably a touch short after what we've seen from him in the first couple.
Mm.
And he's playing a long way up the ground. Again, I'd be looking more for your midfielders for a couple plus in that one. I reckon there'll be an opportunity for them to squeeze forward pressure. They condense the ground as we touched on. So a few of the midfielders, 2 or more.
Let's just fly through the other ones because it is Gather Round and it's a special round and I don't want to miss a game. But just quick one. We're at the Barossa for a few games, but North will be taking on the Suns.
Suns just have to win and should do it comfortably.
Dogs, Lions.
Norwood
Oval. That's at Norwood. That'll be contested. Lockie Neal should have 400.
And Libba will have 400 as well. So there's 800 possessions between 2 players, new AFL records. Lions, again, I think they're going half rat power, but they're good enough.
Really quickly as well, they didn't beat the Tigers very convincingly, but a win's a win. Do you really care how much they win by?
Absolutely not. 4 wins through your first 4 games.
Yep.
And then you're just finding a way. They've been down at halftime in 3 of those. They were smacking the Tigs. They put the Q in the rack. The Tigs did win the last quarter. Well done to Richmond. No concerns for Brisbane. They're flying.
Backflips Campbell as well. He's a great player. Keep your eye on him. Everything he touches turns to gold is one thing that I've noticed in the first 5 weeks.
I was doing the game last week, and off the top of my head, the stat that I found was 27% of all Richmond scores that Kid had a touch in
Mate, everything
in the chains.
Yeah, everything that was like it becomes a goal. He's touched the
Leading
ball.
the goal kicking as well there, so he's becoming a really good find. They've got some other players we like. That's the Tigs, but yeah, in that one, I think it'll be the Lions comfortably.
Okay, let's keep going. Richmond will take on the Dockers at the Barossa.
Surely has to be the Wharfies, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Your old mob.
That's just a professional win. And then this one here is interesting because I think at $1.43 for the Giants to beat St Kilda at Norwood Oval is just a little bit of juice that you can tap onto your multi. The Giants, $1.43.
Yeah, no,
that's got to be a lock, doesn't it?
You'd think so. What do we get there for a start with the Saints, or what's the line going up? We've got...
I'm not a line man.
14.5. So 2.5 goals. I can see the Giants winning by 3 as a minimum. So there's your $1.90 or take your $1.42. The minus 14.5, I think I'd happily take the $1.90.
Now, we're trying to get this up. I don't know if we can, but if we could, a market for Jack Ginnivan to do...
Oh, the celebration.
The celebration.
Yeah, we need this to happen.
He has to kick a goal, obviously. I think he kicks a few. This game is going to be a blockbuster build-up. It's going to be the stamp on Gather Round, right? We've got Will Day out, which does bring Port Adelaide back into it a little bit. Home crowd is Port.
Port need to respond.
Port need to respond, and I know that you've played a lot of football in your whole life. It doesn't matter what level you're at. When you play like shit one week, you generally come out the next week and you're in the game. You're in the game till at least 3/4 time. So this is going to be it's a must watch. And you know you think Hawthorn will do it easily, but you just don't know in this game. So what do you think's going to happen?
I honestly don't know. Again, in a game where you probably would think Hawthorn could do it easy. The line goes up 14.5. They get the start. So that's 2.5 goals expected on the algorithms that they're winning this one by. And if it's 2.5 goals or close to it 3/4 time, don't you tell me that the Port Adelaide factor and the home ground advantage won't come into it. Skinny get tagged. Are they going to belt the piss out of him?
All right, you saw Butters last week start a little wrestle and Kenny gave him a real good little cheeky grin. I'm thinking surely
for it though.
We'll be Kenny's done at the end of the year. You've got to think that he's got something. He's got something, doesn't he?
But this is the beauty of it. This is why it's all set up for just an unbelievable. I cannot wait to watch this. I don't know who wins. I
think the Hawks win, and I think Guinea kicks 2 and he gets right around the fans.
Guinea kicks the sealer like he did against the Dogs, and just instead of that one, he's given the aeroplane.
I'd love to see something like that.
Or just even, I know we probably can't condone what Harley Reid did with the bird, but imagine kicking the winner and just the aeroplane like this. You got the little flaps out the back coming in for landing.
At $1,000 a pop, I reckon you'd just wear it, wouldn't you? Like
crowd funded.
Like the whole crowd in Perth was standing up at the 9th minute and giving the bird. I think everyone loves it. I think you give the crowd a little bird.
It's like this to finish the round. Well done to the AFL for doing it and leaning in, but also well done to Kenny and the Hawks for, it obviously wasn't scripted last year, but there's passion in this. There's some real feeling, and there needs to be. So I hope both sides lean into that. I hope it's a good game, and I'm not really sure where I play with the winner there. Maybe the try bet either side.
Just stay away from the result and just get around our Profit Propeller that we're going to lean into. But, mate, that's at 7:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I reckon that might be about 6:50 in Adelaide if that serves me correctly. But
Did you take 30 minutes off that time you said? Nailed it.
Yep. That's a great time slot every single week. I love a late Sunday night game. I know the players don't like it, but it's that good to watch when you're just sitting on the couch and you've got one more game to finish off your weekend.
It gives you something. Well, a lot of them are the Perth games because of the time difference, which is a good thing. This is just a perfect way to finish it, and I hope the game delivers and lives up to it.
Well said, mate. Well, it's I can see you. We've got a couple of things coming up. We've got a new club on the Propeller. I'll read it out right now. Actually, Daisy, you read it out because it's at the top.
They're the Grasshoppers, are they? The old Rokewood Corndap. Is that how we say it?
That's exactly what they are. Football Netball Club, the Grasshoppers. They joined the Propeller.
The Grasshoppers.
As your boys, the Narre Warren Football Club and Netball Club goes off. So we're going to spin that wheel soon. The Profit Propeller, it's warming up. If you're a bit like a Ford, They kick 1, they kick 0, they kick 2, and then they kick 3. They normally kick it back the next week. So I reckon we might be ready to go. I've just got Woll's message from China. He submitted his Profit Propeller
bet.
bet.
Back on the drone, did he?
He sent it back on the drone right here in the studios here at Roller Media. Now, Daisy, I can see you. There's something about you. Your energy is just a little bit more up and about this week.
Today.
You are.
I've focused. I've got a real purpose. And again, I take my responsibility. And if Paddy Lipinski didn't get a shot, a goal, or have an opportunity to, I would have been really filthy, but he almost did. And that's the chance you take at $2.70. He's that price for a reason. I'm going more simplistic this week. Nick Larkey to kick 3 or more goals. $2.10 up against the Gold Coast Suns. Kicked 3 against them last year in round 18. He's kicked 5, 3, 4, and 2 on the weekend. 2 against Sydney's probably worth 5 against the Gold Coast Suns. We saw exactly what Tex, Thilthorpe, and the Fog Dog did against the Suns. Dear Nick, please. I've never been this stressed about anything in my life. I hate the fact that I let the team down. I'm not that guy. I have to be. But Nick Larkey, he's my lock this week for the Profit Propeller. Where are you looking?
I love that. And the thing I love about Nick is he does not miss.
No, don't. No.
Come on. Okay. Have you seen his record? All right, I won't say it. I want to curse him. Will Hayward, I'm going Friday night football. Ooh. It's going to hurt me if he doesn't get 2 goals because we're going to be at the Cumby all day Saturday and I don't want to hear it. But if I can get him to kick 2
you won't hear it.
So, Will, if you're listening, I know you are. Great man. Just go back. He kicked 4 last week. No Papley. He's got a bit of a deeper role. He's a class act. So 2 goals against the Pies on Friday night football. The weather is perfect. He's an Adelaide boy, so he'll be ready to go in front of his family and friends. So Will Hayward for 2 goals. You get $2.30. The bookies haven't adjusted the algorithm yet because he kicked 4 and he didn't kick a lot at the start of the year, but 2 goals for Will Hayward and our man Wall.
Oh, what's he done?
Well, he's added to the theatre. He's gonna bookend the Propeller and give us something to watch in the Hawks v Port game.
Yes, is it a punch on?
It's not a punch on. It's Jack Ginnivan to kick 2.
Wallace.
Wallace has said Guinea for 2 against Port Adelaide.
See, there's part of me who loves it because Guinea's a type of operator like he did against the Pies last year. He came out and absolutely took the piss. But there's also part of me that knows that Kenny, we love you, Kenny, he's the dogged sort of old school bloke that would just happily go and set somebody, Pel Pepper, just to go and sit there and belt him all game. Wallace.
Oh, no.
Fingers crossed.
Sir, well, you might have to stay in China if it doesn't get up. But that's, mate, all eyes will be on Guinea. And a couple of cheap free kicks potentially. They're going to be going high and hard, I'd imagine. Now, mate, we spoke about how many aces have you seen at the Masters. Well, to celebrate the ace, PointsBet will pay you out early if your tournament winner bet hits a hole-in-one at the Masters. That's right. Pick a player to take out the tournament. And if they nail an ace, you win. So check your account for personalised max stake limits. T's and C's apply. PointsBet, built different. We have the Propeller coming up, but right now the Masters, it's kicking off. We just had our Masters show. Check it out. We had the Q Stick from Tee It Up podcast. We also had Elliot Forbes from PointsBet and Dommy Tyson from Clutch & Co. Just give out some little gems so that you can just
a bag to give away as well.
Yeah, we're giving out a bag. We're giving out coffee beans. We've got our friends here at Inglewood. They're giving away a year's supply of coffee beans.
Jesus.
So it's if you get to AusAmericanations.com, sign up for the sweep. It's free. And we're going to see if you can make the cut. How cool is that? You got to sign up to see if you can make the cut, and then we'll announce the 96 people that have survived with their golfer so they can cheer it on over Gather Round while we're at the Cumby. Mate, before we get to the wheel, you're going to stick with your man for the Masters?
In Ludwig Oberg. Hard to say, the Swiss boy. $19. I'm comfortable. I've sort of narrowed it down to 6, and I know that sounds like I'm having $1 each way, but in a field of near on 100 and a tough conditions, tough course. So I've started ranking order. Colin Morikawa, $17. I like what he produces. You don't have to be that good, the Masters say, from tee to fairway. Fairways in reg isn't the big issue. It's fairway to green in regulation. So as long as you just get it out there forward at the Masters, it's not so much penalising like some other courses. He's $17. Rory McIlroy, this is the one, never got the green jacket. He's $7.50. He's in good form. If he doesn't win it this year, he will never win it.
Dommy Tyson has done the Daisy declaration almost. He reckons if he starts well, he wins.
I'd almost prefer him to be 1 or 2 back coming into the last round.
Just a fight.
Just a fight. If you're leading in the expectation and then you just all of a sudden.
We have seen a few boys put it in the drink, and then I remember Tiger just saw that and capitalised.
Tommy Fleetwood's at $36. Again, he's a player who's in really good form, consistent, puts the dots off it, which you have to do.
Sucks me in with that first name. He'll come second if his name's Tommy.
A-Burgers, I've said. Brian Harmon. Yep. So this probably goes a little bit against what I said at the start. Left-hander. So left-handers have a really good record, 20% higher chance of winning at the Masters than any other of the majors across the stats. He's 126-1. He won last start, so golfer in form. That's the value play along with Sahith Theegala at $126.
Wow.
So there's four that I'm pretty confident with from 36 to 750, and then a couple of speculatives, maybe even just to make the cut or make top 10, top 20, whichever way you want to do it, but responsibly is the main message there, Thomas.
It is. And we have a little custom bet up there on the American Aces Hub for the Masters on the show, just to remind people, you can get $21.20 if you can get on this one. So it's Will Zalatoris, Shane Lowry, Russell Henley, and John Rahm all to finish in the top 20.
Oh.
You get $21.20 on the American Aces Hub there for the Masters. So check out that little multi we've cooked
20.
up.
I like it.
Now let's, we don't have the butler here today, but it is time. It's our favourite segment, Daisy. When you spin it, I want you to spin it with a bit of just gusto. It's time. The Profit Propeller, pan to the wide shot. Here we go. Daisy on the propeller. Give it a big spin. 3, 2, 1. Bang, the propeller's off. It's spinning. It's about to land. It's going to the Sunshine Football Club. Well, there you go.
Cover me in good times.
Oh, there we go. The Golden Kangaroo partner, the Sunshine Football Club, the Kangas. It's their time to shine. We'll get them on the call afterwards.
So far it is.
My mate, Benny McInerney, who lives in Gold Coast, that's his local club. He's obviously up there at Palm Beach now, I think. But Benny McInerney, what do I call him? Brucey McInerney.
The greatest sports commentator of all time.
Sunshine Football Club, they're a great bunch of lads.
Tell you what, so we've gone Narry Warren, who sounds like they'd be tough bastards, and now we've got Sunshine Footy Club.
Don't want to do these boys dirty. There's some tough as nails out there.
Boy.
Oh boy, you might want to just make sure Nick Larkey's just ready to go up in the Barossa.
So I've got Nick Larkey 3 or more. You've got
Will Hayward for 2+.
And the Wallace has got Guinea 2 or more.
Yep. And then we need to call up the president or the representative that's 18+ that's put on the spreadsheet, which we'll call post-show.
Yes.
And we will get them to lock in their bet.
Oh, boy.
This could be juicy because because most of the time we've been doing $2 pops, but these are all $2.30. So it might be a 27 job.
Starts to accumulate rather
there
quickly.
There we go. Congratulations to the Sunshine Football Club. You guys are you're on the propeller. You only get one shot at this.
You only get one shot, and unless I stuff it up again, good luck.
Oh, that's all I've got. Well, Daisy, as we wrap up, we're all heading to Adelaide. I'm really excited. I can't wait. Plenty of friends are actually in town.
Plenty of friends, but the Cumby, I'm most looking forward to this. Of all the things I'm doing, the commentary is going to be awesome. But the Saturday at the Cumby, I just feel like the good old days when you go to the pub, you got all your mates there. There'll be, talking football, obviously. Footy stars. We'll be having the races on. It just should be an unbelievable. The Clubhouse. Julian Valance from Foxcatcher has just been making calls everywhere. He'll be crunching the numbers.
Then Patrick.
Yep.
Postman.
Patrick Postman Pat, because Postman Pat delivers mail. That's a long bow.
Listen to these names though. Lockie Neal, Josh Dunkley, Bradley Close, Dion Prestia, Jordan Dawson, Isaac Cumming, Fogarty, Daisy Thomas, Billy Brownless, Bernie Vince, the 100K boys, Chocks Chat. There's a lot of other people that are popping up in town. You got to get to the Cumby.
Do we have to register? What are we going to do?
There's one more thing. Have I mentioned?
Do we have to register for the Cumby?
It's free.
So you just rock up.
Rock up, free. If you want to book a table, get there. But there's one other thing that I haven't mentioned. Bernie Vince. He is going to be
Adelaide's finest.
Adelaide's finest. So we're going to have Bernie's Barrel. It's free beer until the keg is empty on every day. So they're going to have a keg of beer, and as soon as we start, it's off. Bernie's Barrel, and you can get as many beers as you want responsibly until the barrel's empty.
We love that. We just live to give.
We do live to give. I can't wait. So thanks for joining us. We'll catch you at the Cumby in Adelaide. Let's get the cash here for Sunshine Football Club. You'll be rocking the Cherry Sohos
29
and the
sunny,
Rundle Mall.
31. Oh, boy.
You'll be handing out flyers in the Cherry Sohos and the Paddy Lipinski full
Can I
kit.
hand out a pair of these?
You can hand out a pair. We'll be handing out plenty of Rixies this weekend. Don't you worry about that. That's all we've got. Wal, I hope you're enjoying China, my friend. We can't wait to see you back next week. We might send Wal to Sunshine because I don't reckon he's been out that side of town before. And he'll be dropping off the cash. Let's get the president on the line. That's all we've got this week. Thank you once again for tuning into the Aces AFL show right here on Ausmerican Aces.
Make a shot, man.
Since 2016, there've been 10 holes in one at Augusta. 10 perfect shots on the biggest stage in golf. This year at PointsBet, place a pre-tournament bet on the winner of the Masters, and if your player hits an ace during the 4 rounds, you win. That's right. Hit a hole in one, get paid out early. Check your account for personalised max stake limit. PointsBet. Built different. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.